Hello, my name is Brian Meckes, and we are the Meckes Family. This is my wife of 25 years, Terry, and this is our daughter, Addie.
Well, I decided to accept Jesus because I've just felt really lost, like before, because I lost like a very good friend, like an old lady, but she was a good friend to me. And I started going through like just a really like tough time in middle school, and it was just, rough. And I just kind of felt like I didn't even know who I was. So I just felt lost, and I was just tired of feeling that way. So finally, it's just kind of like the only thing that I knew was what they taught me, and there was nothing else that seemed to be like fulfilling me or like making me feel like anybody. And then I was like, you know what, why not? Let's just, why not listen to them? I think the first time I actually like felt like the salvation of Jesus is when I got baptized. I don't remember when that was. It was like in January or something.
My life is 180 degrees from what it was. I accepted Jesus as a very little girl. I was going to church with my next door neighbor, and I walked down the aisle and accepted Jesus and was baptized. And then, because I wasn't really being taught anything at home, as soon as I hit teenage and driving and working and boys and everything else, I very much took a hard right turn and went my own way for a very long time. Have a lot of bad decisions that I made, and actually kind of went back and forth and played with coming back to Jesus several times until was actually right after I met Brian. I had to finally deal with a lot of the things that had happened in my past, and it was at that point that I broke down, and I was like, okay, that's it. I surrender. I can't do this by myself. And I lost a lot of guilt and shame. And I was actually able to maintain a relationship. We've been married for 25 years, and that in and of itself is a miracle, because before that, I wasn't sticking around for anything for anybody. So I have peace, and I have a godly husband and an amazing marriage, and that's all because of Jesus. So Brian and I met in 1995 and married in a Lutheran church in Virginia in 1996, and very quickly became very involved in that church. Both of our daughters were baptized in that church. We were very, very active. We were in the choir. I was a Sunday school superintendent. Brian was on the elder board for a while. I mean, we were very involved and felt very fulfilled. I mean, the Lord really took us both from a place of pretty severe brokenness to a place where we were at peace. We were doing really well. And life change happens, and then we moved to Pennsylvania. And it took us a little bit in Pennsylvania, but we did find a church there. The Lord led us to a great church, and again, we got very involved. I was teaching and leading classes. Brian was again on the elder board. Both of our kids were involved in Bible quizzing, which is a thing in Pennsylvania. And we were heavily involved. We were at church a lot. And I think we all kind of felt like, things were going good. And then, as things do, we had a pretty major crisis in our marriage. It took us to a pretty
We were in a
dark place. Unfortunately, when we went to the church that we were attending, instead of love and support and more support that we needed and encouragement, we got condemnation. We got guilt. We got, you're not fit to serve. We got, you're not fit to really pretty much even be here. We were ostracized. We felt exiled. We were very, very hurt. And at that time, like I said, Brian was on the elder board. We were leading a small group. We were mentoring young couples. And they were all told to cease all relationship with us, that we were not worthy to tell them anything. And that really hurt. That really hurt us a lot. And we spent quite a few years not being open to anybody. Not that we weren't open to the Lord. We were at home and we went through counseling and worked on our marriage, and our marriage was fine. It was feeling we were in a very desolate place as far as church, because that's all we had done since we've been married. We've been involved in church, and we didn't have that anymore. We didn't have any friends. We didn't have anybody. So we were alone. And we moved back to Virginia in the course of some of this, and it still took us probably a couple years, 3 years, before we started attending a church where we felt even a little bit comfortable. And even that took probably a full year of attending, where we were doing nothing more than going on Sunday morning and saying hi or smiling at a couple of people and going home, and that was it. We weren't involved, we weren't serving, because we were very wounded, and we didn't trust anybody. So the last year or so that we were in Virginia was when we really kind of started opening up. Brian went on a men's retreat weekend and really spoke about some things that had happened, and I got involved in the Celebrate Recovery group and really started sharing some things that were happening, and we really found that was a place where we were given permission to just attend, like just to be there, and we were given permission to come and just heal. And we had never heard that before. So we soaked that in, and we let people love on us, and we really let the Lord heal what was some very big hurt. So yeah, he really kind of took us through that.
Actually, Terry talked a lot about our relationships and what happened. We were in a dark place. However, Christ was a constant. He was there always. I mean, in our prayers, we just knew he was there. So his presence at so many times was the only thing holding us together. I mean, it's like the biblical verse, a cord of three strands. We had been living in Pennsylvania since about 2006. It was about 2015 when some changes in the fire department had caused me to want to be closer. Rather than commuting 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, I decided it was time to move closer. And as always, God was taking care of us, and we had been in a position to where we found a place where we could get some land, and we built a home that actually catered to our promise that we had decided we were going to take care of both of our moms. In the event that they needed some place to go, we were not going to let them go into a nursing home. So we found this home in Fredericksburg and decided to build, and had a wonderful home built. We moved in 2015. And so we were there for about six and a half years when Terry's mom had been living with us for a few years. And my mom actually, as it was coming closer to the time when I was going to retire, she says, "Honey, I love you, but I'm not moving to Virginia." So we decided at that point that when I retired, we were going to sell the house and move to Ohio. So I had retired after 32 years of serving with the fire department, and in June of last year. And July, we made the move, and we moved here to Ohio. Initially, of course, with the housing the way it is, we had to live in an apartment, so we were just actually literally down the street from where we're sitting right now. Mm-hmm. And we had been here for about a month, And probably a week after we had moved, our daughter had said, "So, when are we going to find a church?"
I didn't want to move here because I already had a church in Virginia that I really loved, and I was starting to make connections, and then we kind of uprooted and moved here. So I didn't have anybody, and I'm homeschooled, so I don't have any friends at school unless it's them. And then I was like, well, the only place I'm gonna find any friends is at work, but specifically the friends I want is at church. So like you said, a week in, I was pushing it. I was already looking them up and telling them. They probably got a little annoyed because every week I was like, look, there's this one. And then you were the one that told me, instead of just looking at churches, to look at sermon series. Mm-hmm. So the sermon series that Cornerstone was doing around August, I believe, was the Esther one.
The Silent Symphony.
Yeah. And so we were looking at Cornerstone, and we found that they were doing it on Esther. And then Mom has a really strong connection with Esther. And I just really liked the idea that they had a youth group. And it seemed like a small church, because we come from a lot of big churches. So it was new, but it was interesting. So we decided to come to Cornerstone. I think God definitely impressed on our hearts, because at first when we were looking at other churches, they were really, we'll go maybe, we'll maybe go, And then Cornerstone, I don't know what happened, but I feel like for you guys that God really said, let's go.
When we first moved here, we decided, after our time of healing at the church that we were at in Virginia, after a lot of prayer and a lot of talking, we decided maybe it's time. It's time to start start jumping in like we were. And that was, we just felt so right about it. And when we first attended Cornerstone, we started talking with people, and it just more and more impressed on us that yes, this is the time. As a paramedic, as being in the fire department, I've spent my entire career serving. And many spiritual gifts, exams that we have gone through said that I am a servant through and through. So that is kind of where I wanted to be. And after retiring, I didn't have any place where I was serving. So I decided that this is the time when I'm going to jump in with both feet, and I'm going to this is how I'm going to replace the career that I had. I'm going to use this time to serve. So God is definitely, he's blessed me with so many things. I have some talents to be able to work behind the camera with audio and sometimes play guitar. It's been a wonderful experience how Jesus has pushed us and gotten us involved in this.
Yeah, I would say definitely the comfort level when we walked in was almost immediate. It very much felt like family. It really did. I mean, and you're talking to someone who is pretty hesitant to be open with people quickly. But we came in, and Pastor Brenda was one of the first ones that spoke to us, and we made the comment about the sermon series, and I showed her my necklace, which I have on all the time. And it just kind of went from there. And she introduced us to Pastor Jacob, and everybody that we spoke to was just, we're so happy that you're here. We're so excited that you're here. It's so nice to meet you. And every Sunday that we came back, the same people remembered us, which was cool. They even remembered our names, which was amazing without name tags. And more people, they were, oh, let me introduce you to this person. Debbie Ring is so good at that, and she will grab you and introduce you to everybody, and she does that all the time. And she's amazing, and she is one of the reasons why when the MP rally came up, and I don't remember when that was, but whenever the last MP rally was that came up, we all kind of looked at each other and said, okay, we're going to jump in, we're going to serve. And he knew where he was going, and she knew where she was going. And I was like, I think I'm going to stand in the background. So I joined hospitality, which I actually love because I'm a mama I'm a mama bear, but I'm a mama at heart, and I feed people. That's what I do. If I love you, I will feed you. So being in the kitchen and making the coffee and talking to people and making sure that they're comfortable is something that is an easy segue for me. I have a lot on my heart that I want to do. And right now we're all as a family in the Journey Starting Point class to get ready to jump off and do the other things that we have a couple of ministries that we are really looking forward to being able to start here. And so that's going to come, and we're going to end up being here a lot. But we love it because we're serving with family, and we have the love and support and encouragement, and it's a safe place here. And finally we're back to I think wholeness, and it's good. It's really good.
When I first came, I went to youth group, and that's when I met Jordan. And I'm very tentative, like I'm very shy. I will hold back until someone approaches me. I don't talk to other people. And then Jordan came to me, and we were talking about cameras. And then I am on the communications team now as an intern. I really jumped in because Jordan felt like a big sister, because I have an older sister, but it doesn't feel like an older sister, and more like Jordan does. So it felt like, it's serving alongside family, and people aren't fake about it. They want you to be here. At a lot of other churches, you feel like it's just oh, hi, come in, and now you're part of the congregation, but you're not really a part of the church. But at Cornerstone, it's not I have to serve, or they're no, you need to serve for us, because we just need people. No, they want people to be involved. They want everyone to find a family, a future, and a father.
The way God orchestrated getting us here is nothing short of miraculous, any more than us still being together. Second marriages have 65-70% chance of divorce.
75 to 80% chance of failure.
And just
regular marriages, their first marriages, it's 50%.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It is.
We knew
Right.
away. We knew right away that we're definitely behind the 8 ball on everything when it came to getting married
he's
again.
been so faithful, and even the choice of partner, because not to go into huge detail, but my baggage and my weaknesses, sometimes he compliments and helps that. Other times he's there as God pointing at the sore, saying, okay, we need to heal this. And I'm the same way with him. I have issues and he has issues, and sometimes our issues go like that. But in all of that, we've recognized from the beginning that that's God going, you need to deal with this. And, or you need to see this in yourself, and you need to get over this so that you can love the way you're supposed to love, or, and it's such a blessing. And I would never toot our own horn and say we're great parents, but this little girl, who is not a little girl, quite the young woman, has really watched, she's gotten a front row seat to God in action in making marriage.
Yeah.
Because we don't hide stuff at home. If we're arguing, we argue, and she sees it. But then she also sees
But it's also
forgiveness.
the way you are. You don't want to.
Well, yeah.
I aspire to have a marriage like you guys one day. So,
Forgiveness and reconciliation is way more important and that's something that is huge in our house.